Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Inclusion Unlimited. I'm Leslie Mouton, the Creative Media Director for Morgan's. You know, feeling beautiful is something everyone should get to experience with or without makeup. But some people face physical barriers when it comes to feeling glamorous due to tough-to-use applicators. But that's changing thanks to an Australian company named ByStorm Beauty. They are making beauty accessible and autonomous. Founder Storm Menzies created grips for beauty tools that make makeup products possible for everyone to use. And they're super cute. In today's Inclusion Unlimited, studio intern Emma Siebold chats with Storm over Zoom to talk about her product and mission.
Not even a 15-hour time difference can stop me from talking to Storm Menzies today, who's joining us all the way from Australia via Zoom. Storm Menzies is the founder of ByStorm Beauty and is here to talk to me today about all the wonderful things that their company is doing and making beauty even more accessible and dignified. Thank you so much for joining us, Storm. I just wanted to start by asking you a little bit about how ByStorm got started and why you started it.
Yeah, of course. It all started about maybe like 3 years ago. I think I broke my dominant hand. I have mild cerebral palsy, but I've lived life with like very few challenges. I type a little bit funny and I'm a bit clumsy, but like it's very mild. But when I broke my dominant hand, honestly, for the first time, I realized how inaccessible the whole world was. And I went to do my makeup, like not thinking about it, honestly, because you just exist doing things one-handed without really thinking about it. And so I just went to do my makeup and I couldn't pick up my mascara tube. And I was like, what the hell? And then I'm like, I couldn't open it. And I'm like, wait, hold on a second. This is going to be so much harder than I thought. And I think it was just this like realization for the first time. Like I just never thought about the inaccessibility of makeup. I called one of my girlfriends who has like severe CP, and I was like, hey, how do you do your makeup? And she's like, with great difficulty. Why? And I was like, wait, what do you mean? And she's like, Storm, makeup isn't made for people like me. And why would it be? No one sees me as beautiful. And it was this like moment for me because she said it like it was an obvious, like, this is just a known fact. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? And that kind of like it kind of started everything for me because I think honestly I had this like mix of like guilt and shame and like, oh my, like the realization of how privileged I really was. And I was really like, oh my gosh, for the first time, am only seeing this and realizing how the inaccessibility of things doesn't just impact like, hey, you can either use them or you cannot. It's about what it means when you can't and what the world says about you and how people internalize that. And I think that was the big kind of realization for me that I was like, oh my God, this is so much bigger than makeup. And so I then was like, okay, cool. I'm going to need to figure this out.
Well, tell me a little bit more about the products. I know you'll have two different types of grip, right?
Yeah. They're the same product, but for different kinds of like needs. So the ball shaped group is better for people. Her name's Betty. They're both named after disability rights advocates as well. So we've got Betty, and she is a round ball, and she's better for people who can bend their fingers but might need like additional surface area and a bit more grip. People with arthritis and wrist pains and strains really like her. Also seen like a huge response from the chronic illness community, which was not a community that I was actually intending to reach. But what I've realized is that they really struggle with like energy limiting conditions. And so like anything that and like a lot of the time as well, like struggle with like joint pains and stiffness and things. So they really like the round grip. And then Margie is like a flat paddle shape grip. And that's better for people who struggle to actually curl their fingers. So like for people like me who I struggle with like bending and can't necessarily like hold even like a ball very well, I can like slide in between my fingers so I don't actually have to like bend very much. And also we've had a lot of people with limb difference as well actually use her by like putting her under their arm too, which has been really cool. And that was just a use case that I didn't really think about, and it's so cool to see when people like use things differently than how you intended. Like a lot of girls with CP actually use her on like the other side. So instead of holding it to apply makeup, like usually you have like not usually, but in a lot of cases of CP, like you've got like one good side. And so they actually use it to like on the bottom to still hold the makeup product with like their CP hand, but then can like use their other hand to apply. And it's so cool to see the different kinds of use cases that people have when they use them.
After seeing the gap in the market, Storm created Betty and Margie through 3D printing and a trial and error process. These grips attach to products that people already own and love, and while they're designed to make applying products easier for people with disabilities, it makes makeup easier for everyone.
As I've been on this journey of like talking to more people with disability, understanding more about like disability rights and like disability rights movements and advocacy, I've realized that like if we continue to treat disability and only treat disability through the lens of charity, then we're always going to have an inherently unequal power dynamic. And that's actually really not the point. Like, in order to have accessibility and have it as like a fundamental design principle in beauty, but in all other areas, we actually need to treat people with disability as equal consumers who want to access beauty products. And that's kind of the turn that I've taken in this, and that it's very much for me now about getting brands to understand that like people with disability are humans who want to use makeup like every other human who wants to use makeup, and they have money to spend on beauty products. They just need to be able to actually use beauty products, so that they are a paying customer and they want to be as well.
One thing I want to say is that something about all your marketing, and just the way the products look, it's very aesthetic. It's cute, it's girly, it's fun. And so that makes me think like, what is the importance not just of accessibility in beauty, but like you said, dignity and fun, and you know that kind of, whether that's the color scheme or just like the aesthetic look of the product.
Yeah, I think it's like I think like beauty should be fun. Like beauty should be like fun and identity and self-expression, and like my kind of like whole mission with this is like just people feeling like their best self. And I think that so much of the time when you struggle with something, you have an accessibility challenge, it's like, oh cool, we can put this ugly foam tube on it, or we can like make this, and like that's it's like with such like lack of dignity. And it's like, as a you know a non-disabled like looking beauty consumer, I can still use a lot of like standard beauty products. If someone gave me an ugly ass beauty product, like I'm not going to buy that. That like takes the joy out of something. Like as humans, we want to engage with beautiful things. Like you walk into like a Sephora, and you're like, everything is beautiful and it's aesthetic and it brings you into that world of beauty.
A crucial aspect of ByStorm is the League, or Lived Experience Advisory Group. The League is made up of people who know what living with different types of disabilities and chronic conditions is like. They help test products at ByStorm, which the company says ensures products are built with people with disabilities and not just for them.
If I'm creating tools for the disability community, like the disability community needs to be a part of that. Like it makes so much sense. And disability is not a homogenous group. And so like my lived experience isn't the lived experience of a lot of people with disability. And I really wanted to make sure that we have like an intersectional representation of disability, because I don't want to be the spokesperson for people with disability with all the privilege that I have, and I want to be able to use that. I don't represent a lot of the systemic barriers that a lot of my community faces. And so I wanted to make sure like, yes, we create a tool that helps a lot of people, but I wanted this brand to have a voice and to talk about advocacy and to talk about like helping people like understand that it's like bigger than beauty, and really like bring people along the journey.
And then it's obviously been a crazy but pretty successful year for you guys. What is next, do you think, if you know?
Oh my god, there's so many things. Look, at the moment, there's so many things. The goal is to try to get into the US. Like the market in Australia, like while there are a lot of people with disability, it is quite a small market. And there's a lot of things which I didn't realize before starting a business would ever be barriers. So I love working with beauty brands. So that is definitely a focus of the future, is actually like doing more collaborations, getting more brands on board to understand that like there is a market here. They want to use your products. Let's make shit more accessible and like actually teaching brands how to do it.
ByStorm ships worldwide and right here to the US. Plus, for the end of the Australian fiscal year, they're doing a special buy one, get one free sale starting this week. Use code EOFYBOGOF at bystormbeauty.com.
Thank you so much, Storm.
Yay! Oh my God, thank you so much. It's been so, so lovely.
Thank you, Emma. I love the innovation. Hey, and thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you next week. Please like, subscribe, and share.